What is going on, boys and girls? It is your boy Temp Sits, and today I am reviewing my Suzuki Boulevard M50. Let's jump on.
I want percentage, yeah. Put you in your mind like fucking Guinness, yeah. You never had a chance like an abortion. You don't wanna play with me, to forfeit. Shit. Took it to a place that never thought he could. Now the lone wolf is howling up in Bollywood.
Alrighty gang, what's going on? It is your boy Temporary Citizen here. Today I am reviewing my own 2006 Suzuki Boulevard M50. What is this idiot doing? It's a V-twin 800cc middleweight entry-level cruiser by Suzuki. The M50 denoting the muscle bike styling, and it also comes in the C50. You reckon you could have gone out a little bit further, dickhead? The C50 being the classic styling. And these are the littlest bikes in the Boulevard family. There also is the M and C90, which is, I believe that's the 1200cc. And then you've got the M109 and I believe the C109, which are the big 1800cc editions. Yeah, let's go. Now, this one, so the M50, I mean, one of the beautiful things about it is the absolute budget entry option. So this one's used, obviously, 2006. I picked it up for around $4,500 Australian, which makes it about a third of the price of one of the M109Rs. Some of the other benefits of being such a small displacement are it's much lighter and more agile than the big full-size bully. If you're short or lighter in weight, it makes it a more manageable bike. Me being 6'7" and 120 odd kilos, that's not really a big factor for me, but that's definitely one of the selling points of one of these bikes, is that increased maneuverability. The other thing is a lot of my riding is urban through traffic and all of that jazz, and so something like this is a little bit more suited to ducking and weaving when you're doing a bit of filtering in traffic than something such as the full-sized Boulevard. So 800cc, it's not putting out a oh yeah, lovely use of an indicator, dickhead. Fucking numpty. It's not putting out a metric shit ton of power, but it is absolutely an acceptable amount for day-to-day use. I mean, that's one of the big things. People want to know if it's going to be too slow as a bike. And my answer is no. Like for your day-to-day riding, it's not like you're going to have any issues speed-wise. You're still faster than most of the cars on the road, and you're honestly still a lot faster and more powerful than most learner bikes. So it's not underpowered in a day-to-day sense. The only time you'd find it underpowered is if you were trying to outrace a fast bike or a bigger cruiser. Then in a situation like that, you might be searching, and that's definitely it. I mean, like, I definitely wouldn't be winning any straight line drags on this thing against a more powerful bike. But, you know, that's not really the point of a middleweight entry-level cruiser. And you're still going to have far more power than the 650 cruisers that are out there for the learners. The other thing is, yeah, like that manoeuvrability, it makes it a little bit more sportier when it's not such a huge carcass of metal that you got to try and throw around. You know, especially with these flat bars on it. These are aftermarket, cheap eBay ones that I've thrown on here. And they make it a little bit harder to manoeuvre at slow speeds. But it does give it a little bit more of a sporty feel than the more swept back bars that come off it. Also, the M50 comes with pegs. It's a little bit sportier than getting the foot plates. Little things like that. Now, being a cruiser, when it comes to comfort, these bikes are beautiful. Love the comfort. I mean, I'm 6'7", you can see my knees are taking up most of the tank, but it is still a comfortable bike to ride until you go putting bobber seats on it like I was about to. You know, so it is an enjoyable bike to ride, comfort-wise. This bike does have a Vance & Hines pipe on it, and that gives it quite a throaty growl. It's not ear-splitting, but you can definitely hear it. So it's got quite an enjoyable note to it. It sounds, if you didn't know anything about bikes, you go, oh, that's a pretty big bike. And then you see me riding it and you're like, oh, that's a pretty small bike. So it's all about perspective, isn't it? So being a 2006 model, I think they held on to the rear end design of this bike for a little longer than they started going to that curvier rear end taken off of the M109s. And I tell you what, not a fan of the more modern rear end on these. I don't like it. It looks like it's ripping off a Hayabusa. So I like this sort of age of the rear ends. However, it did come with one of those shitty elliptical headlights in the front, and I've talked about that in previous videos, but I've swapped that with a round 7-inch projector headlight, and I'm very happy with that. The styling is not bad for a cruiser. It's not as retro-y, which I prefer. It's not as old man-y. It's a little bit sportier, but it's still definitely got some of those, you know, regular cruiser styling cues that may not appeal to a lot of people. God, it's very windy and loud today. Sorry about the audio. Now, as you can see here, we're in 5th gear, 5 out of 5, cruising along at 100 k's an hour, and it's doing so relatively effortlessly. It does sort of hold that power curve till about 130, 140-ish, and then it starts losing out and reaching the limits of where it comfortably wants to sit without revving the shit out of the engine. So when you're day-to-day within the law riding, it's definitely got plenty enough power. That dude was having a sus. But yeah, pretty agile. Fire and mirrors make a big difference in the look of this bike and also what you're able to see. Alrighty, and then we're going to get down the end here, and I'll be able to show you a little bit what the lower speed handling is like. But it's not too bad for a cruiser. It's got quite a short wheelbase on it, so it is a little bit nippier in the way that it handles once it's moving. This has got upside down forks. That's pretty sporty for a cruiser bike. There's plenty of naked sports bikes that don't have upside down forks, so that is the one little weird thing about these Boulevard M50s. Upside down forks gives you a little bit more sporty handling over a more conventional cruiser. So I think that's sort of what the appeal in things like Sportsters are. It's just a lower cost, lower capacity version of that sort of ideal. And there's absolutely a market for these. I mean, you know, there's the almost identical Kawasaki Vulcan 800, which went to a 900, but same era, you know, like it's good, especially for small dudes and a lot of smaller chicks that want a cruiser. This is sort of the way to go, because most of the time you don't need that extra power. I mean, it's comfortable enough for me, it's comfortable enough for the missus. She's tall to sit on the back, and there's no issues whatsoever, so it's not like we're finding ourselves struggling power. So you don't need power, but at the same time, I quite often find myself wanting more. Yeah, see, as we go here, there's a bit of lean around the old roundabout, and it does that. No dramas whatsoever. So it's a pretty capable, cheap little entry bike. Absolutely. I mean, Suzuki make pretty bulletproof engines. Don't let the Jixer crowd know that I said that. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this review of the 2006 Suzuki Boulevard M50. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what bikes you want to see me review. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.
This isn't